Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
It's our News Digest unit for the month of November. It's also our all-English unit, so no Chinese, no Spanish, no Swahili, no other languages, unless we have to. Sometimes we do need to use other languages to help explain things, but we're talking about something called sharenting in today's lesson. And, of course, this is a word that's kind of a combination of two words, to share and to parent, sharenting. When I first saw that word, I thought, oh, parents are sharing their parental duties. One day, this couple will take care of somebody's kids. The next day, they'll trade around. Or maybe somebody will take care of all the kids one day, and then somebody else will take care of them the next day. But no, that's not what it means. It has to do with sharing things online, parents sharing things online about their children.
I thought the same thing as you, although I pictured something kind of sad where a couple had divorced and were trying to parent and share that responsibility between the two of them. So this is something to do with, being an influencer online, and that's really popular these days, where people get online and post videos about themselves and include commercials and ads at the same time. That's how they make so much of the money. And if they get a lot of views or hits or comments, they get more money that way from the people that they're advertising for. So we're going to talk about how this can affect the privacy of the people involved, especially kids. They don't have a choice whether their parents are doing this or not. So we're going to talk about how that's going to affect them now and in the future, and if there are any laws that different countries and governments are coming up with to try to protect the kids.
Let's get to it, everybody. Let's listen to our article read now from top to bottom. Child privacy suffers in the age of sharenting. Recently, a new Taipei city couple who are family influencers posted a video of their young child defecating in her diaper behind a Uniqlo clothing rack. Widely condemned as a scheme for online attention, the act drew police involvement and raised concerns about privacy and parenting. This example shows the darker aspects of sharenting, a term describing how some parents excessively share their children's lives or photos online. Sharenting thrives on social media, where engaging content is rewarded with likes, followers, and revenue from sponsorships and advertisements. The way in which parents profit from intimate childhood moments has fueled the rapid growth of family influencer accounts and blurred the boundary between genuine care and the pursuit of popularity. Accompanying this allure are formidable risks. Foremost among them is the loss of privacy, as parents meticulously document and widely disseminate the lives of their children who are too young to consent. With privacy lost, the boundaries indispensable for a child's well-being may also weaken. Experts warn of long-term psychological consequences, including identity confusion, anxiety, and the difficulty of developing an authentic sense of self under constant public scrutiny. Furthermore, embarrassing childhood moments may remain online permanently, affecting future relationships and opportunities. Recognizing these issues, several nations have initiated legislation. France leads global efforts, allowing children to sue their parents for sharing their photos online without consent once they reach adulthood. In 2020, France went further by enacting a statute that requires government authorization before children can appear in commercial online videos, with rigorous regulations on their working hours. Illinois, U.S. has also passed a law to protect children's rights, requiring that child influencers receive a share of income from their video blogs, with their earnings secured in a trust fund until they turn 18. As more nations address sharenting, it is time for society to question whether the focus should be on the child or the parent holding the camera. Okay, it's time for us to explain the contents of today's lesson. The title is Child Privacy Suffers in the age of sharenting. So, of course, privacy means that you can be by yourself or that you don't have to share your life with other people. They don't have to know details about your life. Everybody likes privacy. In some Scandinavian countries, of course, lots of people live alone because they like privacy. They don't like to be around other people. But in this particular case, we're talking about child privacy, trying to let children be themselves and not be seen so much online without their permission.
Right. So a lot of people like privacy. I do. In this world we live in today, though, it's almost impossible to have any privacy. You've got those phones and you've got TVs in your home. You've got computers. They're listening and watching everything we say. So it's really difficult to have any privacy. But here, these are parents that are purposely putting private moments of their children online because they think they're cute or kind of charming. And I'll admit, some of the kids that we see online, they are really cute. If I had kids, though, there's no way I would be putting them online.
You never know what they're going to do with those images.
No, you do not.
Pretty sleazy people out there.
There's some creepy stuff going on. So recently, we had a couple that live in Taipei City, and they're family influencers, and they posted a video of their young child pooping in their diaper. Here we're using kind of a more formal term, defecating. We typically don't say that just as a normal average person to defecate. You're just releasing solid waste from your body. There are two different ways to do that. There's, to urinate. That's also more formal. That's number one, as we say, as slang in America. Oh, I need to go number one, which is to urinate. Or some people say to go pee. When I grew up, my mother refused to have that word in our family.
Oh, no.
So we would say, I need to go to the bathroom. Or, I need to go number one. Number two is pooping. And that's, the da bien. Sorry, there's some Chinese for you. It's to poop. And most kids will say, I pooped in my diaper. I need to go poop. Or they'll say, I need to go potty. That's usually number one. Could be number two. So you go to the bathroom and you pass that waste from your body. If you're being very formal, you can say, for example, my dog defecated on the sidewalk, so I had to clean it up before I moved along and we finished our walk outside. So, yeah, we're showing a video of their little kid going poop in her diaper, and it was behind a clothing rack in the store called Uniqlo, or as you guys say, Yoniku. Uniqlo is the Japanese brand store that you see that have a lot of clothes for usually an affordable price. But this little one was going to the bathroom behind a clothing rack. What's a rack, Tom? A clothing rack in a store?
It's like a shelf, I guess, sort of like a stand where you have something on each side, and then there's a bar going across, and then you've got the clothes hanging on that. They thought it would be cool to have their child poop in the diaper in this store. I'm sure the people at the Uniqlo store were not happy about that, but they thought it would be cute, and so they defecated, or they didn't, but the baby did, behind a clothing rack in Uniqlo. And widely condemned as a scheme for online attention, the act drew police involvement and raised concerns about privacy and parenting. Okay, so of course lots of people saw this video, and I suppose the parents were thinking, oh boy, we're going to get lots of likes because people are really going to want to look at something like this. It's so cool. It's so unique. It's so special. But no, they had a negative response. It was widely condemned as a scheme or an idea for online attention. If something's condemned, it is criticized. You could condemn a criminal to prison, for example. You basically convict them of a crime and they go off to jail. But in this particular case, you just express disapproval. You say it was wrong. It's not the right thing to do. It was condemned as a scheme for online attention. And as a result, this act drew police involvement. The police got involved. And then there was a big discussion. It raised concerns about privacy and parenting. Yes, is this a good thing to do if you're a parent? Is this a good example of parents? Of course, nowadays with people having fewer children, I think the parenting skills are declining somewhat.
Well, you probably saw this as a topic of discussion on TV talk shows. You know how they like to talk about the latest news. Well, there was one word we skipped, though, Tom, and that's diaper. A diaper can be a cloth made out of cloth. It's a soft item. Usually it's worn by babies before they learn how to go to the bathroom by themselves, or they at least can express to their parent, I need to go to the bathroom. It could be a disposable diaper that have plastic around the outside to catch any of the liquid. Everyone hates this part of having kids, and that's changing diapers, but it's part of life. So anyway, but the baby actually was pooping in her diaper. It wasn't that she was pooping on the floor, but you can always smell that lovely fragrance. We don't call it a fragrance. I was making fun. Fragrance is something that smells good. This is an odor, and it really smells bad. But everybody kind of accepts it. It's part of life. We all went through this stage. So let's move on to the next paragraph. It says this example shows the darker sides of parenting. When you talk about dark like this, you're talking about something that's morally wrong or maybe even evil that people look upon as being kind of sinister. So, yeah, it's kind of a darker aspect because, you know, some people think, why are you putting your child in a public view doing something that's very private? We think that's inappropriate.
Yes, this is the dark side of parenting. And again, that term, parenting, describes how parents sometimes excessively share their children's lives or photos online. Of course, if you're a child, you're innocent, you don't know what's going on, so you don't have any say in the matter. And that doesn't seem like the right thing to do. I suppose you can do that with cats or dogs because they don't know any better and they never will. But children, they're going to grow up to become adults, and these things could affect them later on. Parenting thrives on social media, where engaging content is rewarded with likes, followers, and revenue from sponsorships and advertisements. So this is unfortunate because nowadays everybody wants to be an influencer online. Everybody wants to be a digital content creator or something like that. Very few people want to be doctors or lawyers or, financial advisors or whatever. They want to be influencers. They want to be online. And who wouldn't? Because, hey, you can travel, you can make videos of all about certain things, and you can make money in the process. But this is the dark side of this. And yes, it thrives on social media. It's quite popular there. And yes, indeed, lots of people will they'll press the little like button, and they'll, of course, will follow their page. And then, of course, they'll have sponsorships. They'll have advertisers who advertise on their page there, and they can make money from that. So that's what a sponsorship is. It's a company that provides financial assistance to somebody for a particular reason. In this case, people will be giving them money to keep their channel going.
Or maybe you have a sports team here in Taiwan that is sponsored by a particular company, and they'll have that name of the company on their uniforms. That's a way to sponsor someone. So, yeah, they can give them money. They can give them products. Lots of people have sponsors. And of course, that's how they make the big bucks if they are influencers online, is getting sponsorships. Sometimes they don't even really mention that particular company much. Maybe there's a product in the background, or you can see them using it. They do that a lot in movies, too. If someone's using a Mac computer, for example, Apple is paying that producer of the movie a lot of money to do what we call a product placement. And that's what they're doing in these influencer videos we see online.
Okay, and the next sentence goes on to say, the way in which parents profit from intimate childhood moments has fueled the rapid growth of family influencer accounts and blurred the boundary between genuine care and the pursuit of popularity. Okay, so that's quite a long sentence here, so let's break it down. It begins by saying the way in which parents profit from intimate childhood moments has fueled the rapid growth of something, which we'll get to in a second here. So we're talking about the way in which they profit from these things, okay? The manner that they use to get money by showing childhood moments that are intimate. This way or this method has brought about the rapid growth of family influencer accounts. So lots of other people want to get involved with this as well. These are intimate childhood moments, of course. My goodness, of course, you want to have childhood moments in your own family. Why do you want to share them with other people? Most of the time, if somebody, in the past, if they showed you pictures of their baby, you thought, okay, that's cute, okay, fine. But then they keep showing you more and more pictures, and you kind of think, I think I've seen enough. I think I get the idea. But in any case, for some reason, people like to watch this stuff. Most of the time, I think it would be boring for people. I think you could just watch for maybe 2 seconds and you get the idea.
Yeah, but there's a lot of money to be made. And so some people think their children are the cutest things out there, so they want to do this. Now, if you fuel something, notice we're not talking about gasoline or petrol or something like that. We're talking about using this word fuel in a non-literal way. It's more figurative. And we're just saying we're going to make something stronger or more intense. You could also use the verb feed to feed something, make something grow. So it's fueling the rapid growth of family influencer accounts. So more and more families are doing this. I know I see some on Instagram when I get on Instagram, that is. I try to stay off, but as much as possible. I don't really get on Facebook or Instagram because it's a waste of time. But I want to see some of my family's photos. That nowadays it seems like all they feed you from the AI that's running these accounts, they just feed you other people you don't even know, instead of my family. I sort of want to just say, I don't want these other accounts. I just want my family or my friends that I'm following, but that's not how it works anymore.
They keep you addicted, and people are seeing this, and they see it as a way to make money. So, of course, we've got the rapid growth of family influencer accounts. People are starting accounts. They're starting pages and trying to attract people to follow them, followers, or people to press the like button, that little red heart or the thumbs up thing or something like that.
But you have to really kind of do something outrageous to get attention
nowadays
first.
Because so many people want to get attention online. So that's kind of blurred the boundary between genuine care and the pursuit of popularity. So yeah, some people will think that if they're sharing photos of their kids online, it's kind of showing that they care. Aren't we great parents? Aren't we wonderful by showing our cute little baby online like this? So that's what they might be thinking. It's genuine care. But then, of course, it's also the pursuit of popularity. Are you really doing this for your child, or are you just doing it for yourself so you can get more likes and make more money? You're exploiting your child to do that. Okay, we're at the halfway point in today's lesson. Let's take a break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, guys. It's our News Digest unit. It's all English, so we're just sticking with English as much as possible. We don't have a Chinese teacher today. Now, when we left you, we were talking about how sharenting, or these influencer families that are posting videos of their families, are kind of blurring the boundaries between actually genuine care for their kids, actually taking care of their children, and that pursuit of fame and money that drives so much of what we see in our world today. They're trying to be popular because if you're popular, you have more money, and that's what they're looking for. If you blur the boundaries between things, you confuse them. You you're kind of using a little of both sides and mixing it together. It's not really good to blur the boundaries between, for example, a professor at a college and his student, blur the boundaries and become too close of friends and maybe even start dating. That's inappropriate. So you have to make sure you know exactly what you're doing and stay on the right side of that, so you're not doing something a little bit immoral or wicked or dark, as they're calling this here in this article, for those of you out there that hate to see families sharing private moments from their own families. You think, hey, come on, that's private. You don't have to share everything. Don't overshare.
But of course, governments around the world are trying to do something about that, as we'll talk about in just a couple of seconds here. Let's move on now to the next paragraph. It says, accompanying this allure are formidable risks. Okay, so accompanying going along with this allure or this attraction. We have these risks that are formidable. Formidable or formidable, you can say it either way, just means it's very difficult to defeat. Like, for example, right now, Shohei Ohtani is a formidable opponent. It's very difficult to get a hit when he's pitching or to strike him out when he's batting. Yeah. He's very formidable. He's a strong opponent there. And yes, indeed, these are risks that are involved that you need to take into consideration if you're thinking about doing this with your cute little daughter or your son.
Now, foremost among the risks that we're talking about is the loss of privacy. You'll no longer have any privacy as parents meticulously document and widely disseminate the lives of their children who are too young to say, okay, I'm okay with that, mom or dad. You can share my private stuff. Foremost just means the most important thing or the first in a line of reasons for something. My foremost reason for moving to Taiwan was to review my Chinese that I'd learned years and years ago, my first time I came here. So there might be other reasons, but foremost is the first or primary reason is that people who are posting photos of their kids are they're allowing their children's privacy to be invaded, as we like to say. If you're a parent who meticulously documents and widely disseminates something, it just means you're very carefully doing something. To be meticulous is actually a good thing. You're doing something with a lot of care and there's a lot of detail to it. But if you're just meticulously videotaping, documenting here just means to use that camera and document that way. And then disseminate means to share. And usually you're sharing information. To disseminate information, disseminate documents. So they're disseminating way too much of their kids. They're oversharing, as I said. So this can not be a good thing. It can be a bad thing because why? Their kids are too young to consent. What does consent mean, Tom?
It's just permission or to give permission for somebody to do something that concerns you. That concerns you. So they're too young to consent. They're too young to say, yeah, mommy and daddy, it's okay if you put pictures of me online. That's okay. Hey, you're too young to make that decision yourself. So it doesn't seem fair that these children are being exploited that way, especially by their own parents who are supposed to protect them. And with privacy lost, the boundaries indispensable for a child's well-being may also weaken. Okay, so we've lost the privacy there. Everybody in the world can see them, from people in Russia and the United States and South America. They can all see these pictures online. So because that privacy is lost, the boundaries that are necessary will weaken. Okay, we're talking about boundaries indispensable. These are boundaries that are necessary. Indispensable means you have to have it. You need it. If you don't have it, you're not going to be able to get what you want. Like grammar skills in English are indispensable. You can't really learn English unless you understand the grammar or have a good knowledge of vocabulary. Those are indispensable skills. And yes, indeed, these boundaries may weaken. The children will not be able to be protected or protect themselves.
That's right. So experts, people who are experts in child psychology, how a child and their minds grow and how they learn and distinguish between right and wrong, they could have some long-term psychological consequences, the results of being involved with all this sharenting, including they might be confused about their identity. Who am I? Am I just someone online that's important to my parents when they're videotaping? Or do they really care about me when they don't need a cute photo or a cute video from me? Maybe they start to become anxious because people recognize them or they want to hold them or touch them when they run into them on the street or in real life. And they also have difficulty developing an authentic or real genuine sense of self because they're under constant public scrutiny. Scrutiny means very close and careful examination. And this can really hurt kids in the long run, in the long term, because we see it a lot with child actors who become very famous. And, we used to have a very small, select group of child actors. Nowadays, with all these influencers, there are just more and more kids who are exposed to public scrutiny, criticism. People post mean comments on these social media accounts. The kids will see those. It affects their self-esteem.
Right. And, of course, in the future, if they want to seek a government office or something, somebody will dig up these videos from the internet and show them, and they'll be embarrassed, and they'll have to go away and hide somewhere. Furthermore, embarrassing childhood moments may remain online permanently, which is basically what I just said.
You can never delete once it's on the internet.
Right. You might be able to delete it from your own account, but people are going to be copying it, and it'll be out there forever. There's no way to ever get rid of it.
Yeah.
So it will be there permanently, and that will affect future relationships and opportunities. So yeah, be careful if you want to post some embarrassing moments about yourself online, but the point here is that these children don't have any choice in the matter. Gee, thanks a lot, Mom and Dad. You ruined my life, and you didn't even ask my permission.
So moving on, recognizing these issues, several nations, several countries have initiated or started legislation. France leads global efforts. They're kind of on the cutting edge of this. They're allowing children to actually sue their parents for sharing their photos online without consent. Once the kids reach adulthood, that could be 18 or 21, depending on the country. But if you sue someone, you're taking them to court for doing harm. So they're taking their parents to court and saying, you hurt me because of your own actions when I was a child. And usually you're awarded money that way if you win. Now, in 2020, France went further. They went even further than that by enacting. If you enact, you officially make a law or rule, and it's in effect. We say that this law is in effect. They enacted a statute. A statute is a type of law, legislation, that requires government authorization before children can even appear in commercial online videos. If it's a commercial video, it means you're getting money or something in exchange for putting that up there. Now, my sister sometimes publishes photos of her kids, but she's not commercial. And she never posts them for long term, although I tell her once that photo's online, it's there forever. But she will post and then they disappear after a couple of days. You need government authorization before your kids can even appear in these sharenting videos, we'll call them. And there are rigorous regulations on their working hours because they are working. If their parents are making these videos, they usually don't have another job. They focus on this 24/7. Authorization, what does that mean? It just means you have the right to do something. So you've got some sort of official permission to do something. You usually have to get approval from some authority who has power, or maybe you're getting a permit or a license to do something.
Right. It's official permission. A government can be an authority. They can give authorization, whereas your teacher or your parents give permission. Authorization is just more formal. And yes, indeed, the government will require authorization from themselves before children can appear in commercial online videos, like commercials for children's clothing or whatever. And they have rigorous regulations on their working hours. Here, rigorous just means they are severe, they are thorough, they are accurate, they cover all the bases, basically.
Strict, very strict.
Strict regulations, that's a good word. And yes, indeed, that means that children cannot work for longer periods of time, like maybe only 2 or 3 hours a day or something like that. And so those are the regulations. Those are the laws. If you break those laws, you will get in big trouble.
Moving on to America, in the state called Illinois. We don't say Illinois. It's Illinois. It's a French word. They passed a law to protect children's rights, and they require that child influencers receive a share of income from their video blogs. So if their parents are taking videos of them and then sharing them online as an influencer, they are required by law to share the income that they receive off those videos. But that money is then put into something we call a trust fund, which means the kids can't get their hands on that money, neither can the parents, until that child turns 18. And then they have access to that money they made as a child.
Right. And of course, lots of people have trust funds for their estates and things like that, so that when somebody passes away, the government won't get a lot of money from that. But here, yes, the money is placed in a trust fund, and then when they're 18, they can get access to that money. As more nations or more countries address sharenting as they do something about it, it is time for society to question whether the focus should be on the child or the parent holding the camera. So yeah, what's more important? Seeing those child videos of your son pooping in a clothing store? Or is it important for the parents to have that right to hold the camera and make those videos as they please? Yes, indeed, nowadays it's pretty interesting. Excuse me, not interesting. Pretty easy for anybody to make a video and post it online. I've never done it myself, but I have a feeling it's quite easy to do. You could easily post something on YouTube by starting an account or something like that. Anybody can do it. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. And we don't have a Chinese teacher today, so we're going to go straight to the ending. Thank you for joining us. And make sure you check out our extra content on YouTube and Facebook. And we look forward to seeing you next time. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.